going on, everybody? This is Stats Over Politics. My name is Shaun. If you didn't already know, now you know. You might have heard my voice before on the Be Heard podcast platform on a little podcast called Shaun and Vaughn. And we are joined by my co-host from Shaun and Vaughn. And we have two new additions to the family. None other than Kevin Dent, for the last time, the Elk Grove legend, and Mr. Garry Tune.
What's up?
How are we doing, gentlemen? Garry, how are we doing?
Doing great, man. Ready to get started with this podcast. Stats Over Politics with the guys. Come on.
Kevin, episode 1. I know this is a moment that you have been waiting for a long time. How are we feeling?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm just riding the high, man. What is it? 7, 8, 8-0 maybe? I kind of lost count at this point, so I'm just happy to be here, man.
Toddy, what's up with my guy? My day one.
Hey, man, we're back at it again. We added more to the alliance. We're starting to become the Avengers now. So I mean, hey, we're a 2-man team now. We're the Avengers. So let's get it rolling.
Let's get it rolling, gentlemen, and let's not waste any more time. But before we get to that, this is episode number 1 of Stats Over Politics, and a big difference from Shaun and Vaughn to Stats Over Politics isn't just the addition of our guys Kevin and Garry, but we're also live on YouTube, on Twitter. What's up with our YouTube and Twitter viewers? We got our guy James checking in. He said, "What's up, Bullin' with the team?" What's up, James? How you doing? We appreciate you. And before we officially get into our sports topics, because this is going to be a sports podcast predominantly, I just want to get to know the guys a little bit more. I'll give my little bit of intro last. But Garry, just tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Sacramento, born and raised. Favorite sport, basketball, football, Steelers fan, Kings fan. And that's pretty much around sports right now.
And what about you, Kevin?
Hey, man, just like Garry, man, born and raised in Sacramento, California. Been around sports my whole life. I actually played high school basketball with Toddy, so we came up together hooping. So that's a little bit about me.
And Toddy, what about you?
Hey, man, I'm just born into, came out the womb a Niners fan. Didn't really have a choice at all. I'm a Trey Lance opinionist. Anything Niners, I'm kind of all over it. I'm a Kings, Celtics fan, more of a Celtics fan. Owner sneaker store, Total Culture. You guys go check that out. If you guys need any drip, go check that out. But yeah, man, I'm really ready to get to it with this. We got a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to catch up about. Just my quick bio, 15 seconds or less, born and raised in Sac, always been passionate about sports. Kings, Niners, A's. I'm a sad fan, but the Ohio State Buckeyes. And maybe you'll see me on ESPN one day. And shout out to everyone who's tuning in. Now we're up to 5 viewers. We appreciate you all. And hey, we even got another comment. Toddy! We appreciate you, Demetrius.
We're here, man. We're trying to make it happen.
All right, gentlemen, let's get started and let's not waste any more time. You see what I'm wearing. You see what Garry's wearing.
Let's go. Come on now.
Jaevon's a half and half when it comes to Kings and Celtics. Kevin, he rocks with the Kings. So let's get into those Sacramento
jersey.
Kings. We
rocking, man. I got to show it off rocking.
So let's get into the Sacramento Kings because they just went on a 4-game road trip and they went 2-2. 3 of the games on the East Coast. And that 2-2 record easily could have been 3-1, if not 4-0, if not for our favorite friends, the good old referees. So, Garry, I want to toss it to you first. What were your thoughts on this road trip? The Kings, both of their wins came in comeback fashion, and then they could have had 2 more.
Well, I think, to be honest with the Sacramento Kings, I think we're just starting to get our water under our sail. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the we start off preseason's not that big, you guys. I think we all agree with that. But I feel like they started off pretty good in preseason, trying to develop a culture, trying to develop their system. And I feel like we're just going through the tough moments right now through that system. The first 2-3 games, we kind of got away from it, ISO heavy in offense. But mainly, I really feel like our Kings, we're starting to get some little bit better at defense. But I'm starting to love the shots they're taking. They're being selfless, and whoever's hot, Monk could be hot one night, Herter can be hot one night, even Mitchell can step in, or Rook Murray can step in. So we have a lot of potential people stepping in, and Fox really been that guy so far this year. I feel like he's going through his growing pain, especially in those fourth quarters and stuff like that, to see like, all right, when's the time to take over? When's a good time to give Sabonis a little touch? He can work his in and out game. So I feel like Sacramento Kings, I don't know. Maybe it's optimistic, positive right now, but 2-2, I'll take that. I felt like we could have got robbed. We could have been 3-1, and even the Heat game, we could easily been 4-0. So like, I feel like we've been doing pretty well this season. We're on a good track. We have a lot of good positive signs compared to like, I guess you could say Lakers or somebody.
Yeah, the good old Lakers. So, Kevin, wins against Charlotte and against Orlando, those are teams that you won't expect to be in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Heat and the Warriors, those were the two losses. So, Kevin, were you satisfied with the 2-2 road trip?
The Charlotte game was probably the best thing for us and probably the worst thing for us. Seeing Fox go down, everyone had to step up and see what they can do. Jaevon showed that he can hit the three ball. He can be a consistent playmaker. And like I said, that was probably the worst thing for us because the expectation was set so high once Fox returned. You definitely saw that he struggled. But our defense has been there. You can definitely see that Mike Brown, these guys playing. And like Gary said, the unselfishness is insane. The Sabonis and Kevin Herter combination is really dominating the two-man. You would think it would be De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, but Kevin Herter has came and made his stamp. And same with Malik Monk coming off the bench, man. He's had his slow start, but now I feel like he's starting to get into it and knowing that go ahead and pull it. That's what your job is. You're coming in and getting them up. The only thing I really have to say is Harrison Barnes. I feel like he's been running around getting cardio, man. And when he does shoot it, if it seems like he doesn't want to shoot us at the end of the shot clock. Defensively, I love it. I wouldn't trade him for nothing. But offensively, he's kind of just running around out there.
It's really disappointing when it comes to Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes so far this season, just because both of those guys the last couple years were talked about in February at the trade deadline. Should the Kings trade them to a contender who's looking for a role player off the bench? The Kings passed on it, and now we have seen both of their values diminish. So now on to our 50-50 fan, the Boston fan, the Sacramento fan. How did you feel about this road trip?
Well, I mean, the first game, Charlotte, De'Aaron goes down, Charlotte goes up by a ton, and then the Kings start to come back. You saw a lot from Davion Mitchell. Kevin Herter played really well. Kind of in that span, it was kind of the Herter show, and then De'Aaron ended up missing the next game. And Herter balled out. Davion played well. I like the lineup where it has it's Davion. It was Davion. Who else? Malik Monk and Herter. I like that kind of 3-guard lineup. I think it provides a lot of scoring and speed. I also noticed from when De'Aaron Fox came back that he's kind of in all-star mode, and this guy, the Kings kind of play through De'Aaron Fox. And also what I noticed is whenever Sabonis doesn't really play well, the Kings don't win. But whenever Sabonis has double digits, 19, maybe 15, and like 8 rebounds, the Kings usually win those type of games. So De'Aaron Fox, obviously and with the Orlando game, hitting the logo 3 to win the game, is kind of just on a rampage right now in the Western Conference that has a lot of, all NBA guards. So I think De'Aaron is kind of matching himself up well with those guards as of right now. Record-wise, the Kings aren't where they want to be right now, but at the same time, I feel like that they're only on the way up. And with, 2 missed calls by the refs, and the NBS came out after both games and said, oh, this was a travel. Oh, this was a foul. Like, why don't you just call? This only makes refs, get shined in a more worse light, because people already have a lot to complain about refs, and for them to come out and say, oh yeah, this should have been this should have been that. why are you coming out and saying this? This only is adding more fuel to the fire for reps. So I think it's just something that, I think something like that should be able to be reviewed at the end of games because, you're able to challenge certain things, but you can't challenge certain calls like a travel. You can't call that, or you can't review that. Or like, when someone gets fouled at the end, like you should be able to review that, at certain games, certain point in time. So I just think, the Kings need to continue this, with this momentum, because with that last game, I thought the Kings were winning that game the majority of the time. So when De'Aaron Fox kind of was, going off it, but we all forget that, Steph Curry, the guy who won the Finals MVP last year,
47 points.
had 47.
It's tough. Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing. So if you kind of limit Steph to maybe 30 points, Kings win that game.
Yeah, you're tuned into Stats Over Politics, and here we are on YouTube and Twitter. If you're tuning in on Twitter, do us a favor, favorite that tweet, hit a retweet. This was supposed to be a limited live stream for the first episode, but help us out. Hit that retweet button, and if you're on YouTube, give us a like. We would really appreciate it, and make sure to mash that subscribe button. So let's get to a comment real quick. We got our guy Manny going Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers are about to probably trade Anthony Davis. That's what's going on there. So, guys, the Kings play the Cavaliers next, and they're back at home now. So, do we think that the Kings will have a good next week until we meet again? We're going to be live streaming every Tuesday night. Episodes pop up on your podcast feeds on Wednesdays. So, in the next week, the Kings got the Cavs at home tomorrow night. Then they play at the Lakers. And then they play at home against the Warriors. And then they're at home against the shaky Brooklyn Nets. Will Kyrie Irving be there? Hopefully.
I'll be at that game.
Jaevon will be at that game. Hope we know. Okay, Shaun and Vaughn audience as Jaevon. Like, okay, Gary says 2-2. So
I'll be 2-2. Hopefully, that'd be nice. Might be too bad. I'll take
Shaun
2-2.
So the Shaun and Vaughn audience, Jaevon will call him Sav Nation. They know his obsession with Kyrie Irving. So let's all send out a prayer real quick for Jaevon that Kyrie Irving gets to play next Tuesday. So Gary, you say 2-2. Jaevon, how about you?
I'll say
4 games.
I'll say 3-1. I like.
Who said the teams? Though, say the teams now. Come on now.
I think they'll beat Brooklyn. I think they'll beat the Warriors. I think they'll beat the Warriors at home, and I think they'll beat the Lakers. The Cavs are that DG Donovan Mitchell lineup is scary. So probably gonna lose. Probably gonna lose to the Cavs tomorrow.
Kevin. Your final thought?
Toddy's over here preaching. I was going to say the same thing. 3-1. The only game I think we're going to have a hard one is the Cavs, but I think we should beat the Lakers. We should definitely beat the Nets. And I think for the third time, we're not going to lose to the Warriors. I think we're just going to come out and be balls to the wall. I don't think we're going to lose to the Warriors.
So before we move on to our next segment, I just wanted to get to a couple more comments here. So our guy Khalil, shout out to Khalil. He said, we got played last night. The Kings got played last night against the Warriors. That was definitely a foul on Klay Thompson. That's for sure. Our guy Bear, Jaevon's little brother, said, we know he ain't with the Celtics. Oh, Jaevon, you're not with the Celtics? Are you actually 100% Kings? I guess you guys got to tune in to find out.
Yeah, now for the rest of the season now.
50-50.
Okay.
My feelings.
Right.
Oh my God.
Okay. So back to Manny. Manny asked a good question, and then we'll move on to our next topic after this. Manny asks, who has a better chance to make it to the playoffs, Lakers or Kings? We're going to go around, Kevin. I'm going to start with you. Lakers or Kings?
With the rosters today, I say the Kings 100%. I say the Kings 100%. AD and Bron are what let me talk about Bron. AD's wearing down. It breaks my heart to say that LeBron James is getting hurt.
Side note, Kevin is a huge LeBron fan. For everybody that
we got
does
2
not
over
know,
here.
we got huge LeBron fans. So go ahead.
He's taking some licks, man, and it's hard. But when they are healthy, you can just tell they don't have enough. I think we have a better roster, 100%. And I feel like if we pull it together, it's going to be obvious.
All right, Jaevon, how about you?
I'll say right now the Kings. I'm gonna get a lot of heat from my cousins / business partners. The Lakers right now are kind of just in turmoil. Anthony Davis is angry. I guess he didn't talk to the media after their last game.
So who has a better chance?
The Kings.
Okay, the Kings. Okay,
The Kings.
Gary.
I know I want to say the Lakers, but the Kings just feel way better. They just feel better. But I just feel like Kevin was saying, I feel like the Lakers gonna make a trade. They're gonna make something switch up. LeBron's not gonna be staying in mediocrity. I just don't feel like it just doesn't feel right. So I feel like they're gonna shake it up. But right now, obviously, I'm gonna go with the Kings. We got a better roster, and you know what? The Kings, like I was gonna say earlier, we just really need to just find our we are, like you guys said, you were talking about Rashawn Holmes not playing and stuff like that. We are pretty deep, you know what I'm saying? Harrison Barnes. So we got to find the right little matchups, the right starting lineups, the right ending lineups. You know, the more lineups are really matching all cylinders. I feel like that's when we're gonna be cooking. But I don't know. It's gonna be pretty tough right here. Come on, send LeBron a care package, please. Someone send LeBron a care package.
Let my man's out, man. He don't deserve to go out like this, man.
Give him a care package.
LeBron's not worried about rings anymore. He's in LA right now. He's a billionaire.
Whoa.
Now you being
I'm not ready to go
jealous.
there. Hold on now. He's sitting back like, hey, you see this too, right? This shit got to change. I ain't getting back on the court, so this is different.
I got a new coach.
Russ that ain't changing nothing in the NBA.
Coach can't score no points.
Russ had 22 off the bench.
I mean, it's going to help run the plays and stuff like that. And it's going to obviously help who gets minutes and things of that nature. But at the simple right now, they can't shoot. It's simple. Everyone knows that. Simple.
Yeah, they can't shoot at all. You know, just to play devil's advocate here, and so it's not a sweep, I'm going to say the Lakers because the Kings haven't made the playoffs in 16 years. So if we're talking about who has a better chance to make the playoffs, I'm going to go with the team that's not on a 16-year drought, which is the longest playoff drought in NBA history. I'm literally wearing a Kings shirt, but Toddy knows the best. I will be pessimistic.
DA, we're going to call it going DA, devil's advocate.
Hey, devil's advocate. Hey, so it's 3-1. I'm in the minority here, but it's okay. All right, gentlemen. Episode 1, Stats Over Politics. Now it's time to get to a segment which you guys may not have been planning for. You might have remembered it, but you may not have been planning for it. It's time for Shaun's Pop Quiz. Soon enough, I'll have some audio. It'll be all real nice, and we'll do it right. But for right now, it's episode 1. You got my ugly voice saying it. So for the listeners, every single week, I'm going to ask 5 questions of the guys, and I think I'm just going to ask one question for each of you because when we did our test run episode, we kind of figured out asking the same question, going all around, didn't really work out as well. So I got one question for each of you guys. And for the viewers, this is for all the sports that the guys don't watch. Baseball, WNBA, tennis, golf.
No WWE in there.
Pretty much, yeah, hockey. Pretty much every sport that's not basketball or football, I'm going to have in Shaun's Pop Quiz. And the World Series just came to an end this past weekend, so Shaun's Pop Quiz this week is about baseball. Gary, I'm going to start with you.
Like last time. You see that? Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we did give you a hint last time or to better this game. I hope it's multiple choice this time, please. Please, let me throw a dart at least at something with my eyes closed.
Maybe episode 2.
Nah. Yeah, we'll see on episode 2.
Maybe episode 2, you would think.
Just make sure you're keeping track.
Gary, can you name a player from the 2017 Astros team who is still on this year's team? So the guys who were the
Eric
cheaters.
Bellinger. I don't know.
No. Unfortunately, no. You could have gone with Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Yuri Gurriel, Justin Verlander. Those are some of the guys. All right, Evan, on to you. What was the winning manager's name?
Ooh, I know it. I know the answer to this question.
Couldn't tell you. I don't even have an educated guess.
You gotta give
let me
baseball.
All right, Toddy with the steal. Go ahead, Toddy.
Dusty Baker, baby.
Johnny B. Dusty Baker out of Del Campo High School in Sacramento.
Bro, I didn't know.
Thank you, Toddy, for getting that one.
That's
all right,
cool.
So Toddy, and Dusty Baker still lives in Sacramento, which is pretty cool.
Why?
So,
why? He said why?
Toddy, Toddy, you did steal Kevin's question, so you did get a point, but I got the question for you, and this is the last question before we move on to the NFL. Yeah, Kevin.
We got to go with the rules after this.
We gotta make some more better rules for this too.
Okay.
Rules.
Not everyone's a fan of Shaun's pop quiz yet. I can tell. It's okay. It needs some work. I will admit that. All right, Toddy, your question is, who plays for the Phillies that went to Sac State?
Oh man.
Isn't it funny how Garry knows the answer to this one?
He went to Christian Brothers.
I don't know his name. I know his face though, for sure.
Oh, no, he did not go to Christian Brothers. He actually went to Jesuit. He went to Jesuit and then on to Sac State. And
yeah, he's like from out here.
Did he graduate 2016 or something?
Forgot what his name is.
Reese Hoskins. And also,
shout out to Reese.
I want to give a shout out to Khalil and I want to give a shout out to Tracy because they both knew the answer and Kevin and Garry did not know the answer. So we appreciate the listeners. All right, guys.
Hey, why can't we see like the comments? Only you can, huh?
Nah, you can.
Sean's the only
is there a way we can see the comments?
No.
Yeah.
You can.
Sean shows us that.
Yeah, I think that's
right
how
here.
it works.
No, you can see them.
I missed the whole comment thing.
Go to comments. Everyone can see them.
Everyone's missing out. And see, welcome to our first episode.
Boom.
Hey, Stats Over Politics, episode number 1. Kevin's tuned in. We're locked.
I've been locked in. I've been seeing everything.
Showtime. Hold on. 901. Wasn't okay.
Tracy's laughing that we just got that. And yeah, Toddy said T. Yeah.
All
right, guys. T's in the building. We appreciate
Raiders and Colts. Let's talk about Raiders and Colts. Showtime Bear want to talk about Raiders and Colts.
Everybody throw up the T.
Oh, okay.
You want to talk about shit town?
Brother Bear. Let's get to the NFL.
Hold on, wait. This is the reason why he's asking this question because they're all going to Vegas. They're all going to Vegas this weekend to watch the game. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get to Bears and Colts, this was unplanned, but since our listener asked for it, we will talk about it real quickly. Before we get to Raiders and Colts, let's get to Raiders and Jaguars, or maybe Raiders and Saints. Okay. Garry, thoughts on the Raiders' last 2 games before we get to previewing their game?
I'm done with the Raiders. I've been betting on the Raiders all season. They've been messing up all my parlays and everything.
Oh my God.
You feel me on that one? Oh my God. They're disappointed, man. They're really disappointed. They had Adams, they got a call. I thought they're going to step up this year. Their defense, I thought they were going to step up, but something ain't right. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't hire the coach that was interim last year. Something not right. You know, I've been watching. Every time I look up, I just can't watch the Raiders no more. I watched it a couple of times already. I choose not to watch the Raiders because they make me lose too much money. So we changing lanes.
Yeah, Bear's not too happy with us. He wants us to talk about the Colts game. But Bear, we are sports journalists. We have to get to the 2 games that led to the Colts game. So, Kevin, just thoughts on the Raiders' last 2 games and the Colts coming up, I guess?
The 2 previous games, the whole season, man, I'm sick of them. I got Derek Carr on my fantasy team, and he's been horrible. I got Renfro. He's been horrible. Waller been out all season. I got to play Derek Carr next week because Joe Burrow's on a bye, so I'm hoping they keep it going in the air at least. I don't care if they win. I just need him to throw for 300 yards, but, you know, it's real shaky. It's definitely showing that Devontae and Aaron miss each other. It shows that everyone can't be like the Rams and the Bucs and turn it on 1 year. It definitely takes time to grow. This season, I think, is down the drain. They're in one of the hardest divisions in the league. So it's the cards were against them from the start, and now that they're playing poorly, I think it's just going to pile on at this point.
Toddy, how about you?
Well, you know, Garry kind of, previewed it. You know, always put the Raiders on a parlay. They're not going to lose to the Jags. They're not going to lose to the Saints. There's no way they get shut out by the Saints, right? They go on the road. It should be easy, right? They're playing against Andy Dalton, playing against Trevor Lawrence. No, they figure out a way to lose these games. Like they're up 17-0. They're up a certain freaking the previous game they didn't score any points. So they couldn't. I mean, you're up 17 on the road. They just don't figure out a way how to win these games. They figure out a way to lose these games. And it's very disappointing. It's kind of coming to a point to where, like, when the Raiders are playing, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect when you're playing against, the Las Vegas Raiders. But coming up this week, they should beat the Colts. Like I said, should beat the Colts, who just fired their head coach, and now are playing against a Jeff Saturday-led team who's never
I
coached
wouldn't
in
even
the
get to
NFL.
that side.
So the Raiders at home, the Raiders should win against the Colts. Sam Ellinger at home, and probably Jonathan Taylor's not even going to play. So they should win. Should win. Wouldn't be surprised if they lose 30-0.
My money's on the Colts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Fighting Jeff Saturdays as well, and who knows? Maybe after Josh McDaniels, Toddy's the answer. I mean, that's what Bear thinks at least. And Manny also mentioned Raiders need to learn how to finish games, and that comes down to coaching. Josh McDaniels.
Simple.
Okay, so just yes or no answer. Does Josh McDaniels come back for year 2, Gary?
Yes.
Toddy?
Yeah, he does.
Kevin?
100%.
Devil's advocate. No, he doesn't. No, Mark Davis is sick of him.
I think.
Yeah, but you can't keep having turnover like that.
You got to give it one more year. You have to try it again. You know what didn't work the first year. You change it, and you give it another go. But if next year's just like this, he doesn't make it 6 games.
All right, guys. Now
Josh Jacobs
let's
been
get
good at least.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs. Honorable mention, Josh
My fantasy,
Jacobs.
I've been happy about that.
Man, he killed me on fantasy. All right, well, that one game he went crazy, bro.
Yeah, like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the Colts, but they're a mess too. Those are it's the what do you call it? The biggest disappointment bowl this weekend. Those are the biggest 2 disappointments right there.
All
right, am I wrong?
It's
Titans,
interesting.
Not Titans, Colts and Raiders. We thought they'd both be playoff teams. So people were talking about Colts maybe making the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan.
I don't know who did that. I don't know who did that.
Nah, they were talking about that in the beginning of the year.
All right, so before we get to checking in with each one of our teams, we got to do our guy Khalil a favor. He's been asking, when is the pod coming out? And I know he's been waiting to hear the pod because he said that he wants to hear all of Toddy's bad takes. So, Toddy, serve him up a bad take about his sorry Packers.
Well, I mean, I've said this. He brought it back to us when I told him Packers versus Niners, how stacked this team was. And I told him going into the year, I didn't really think the Packers had it all together. They had Aaron Jones, yes, but who the hell are they throwing the ball to? I mean, you got Lazard, right? Dobbs. Aaron Rodgers is throwing it to running backs and tight ends. He's throwing it to Tongan, he's throwing it to Aaron Jones, and that's pretty much it. Aaron Rodgers is an all-time talent, obviously. It probably will go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. But I think that most of the firepower is on the defensive side. We discovered Devondre Campbell this year. He's been a guy that's kind of been hasn't really been talked about in the national media until I'd say this year. Jair Alexander is one of the best corners in the league, I think, personally. He just went back and forth with Stephon Diggs a couple of weeks back. But I mean, man, I just never really knew where this offense was really going to generate. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is not going to throw the ball to himself. So, I mean, he's got a bunch of rookies that he doesn't really want to baby, if that makes sense. Like, Rodgers isn't that kind of quarterback.
He's not doing his job.
He's not really being a leader. He's kind of a guy that's going to be, it took him a while for him and Devontae Adams to have that connection, because Devontae was young, but he had forget the receiver's name. It's off the top of my head. It wasn't I think it was James Jones was the guy that and Greg Jennings that he kind of had, and then Devontae came on when those guys ended up leaving. So it kind of took Devontae about 3 years to really like pop and become the Devontae that he is now. So I don't think Rodgers has that time right now because he's thinking about retirement. So I think the Packers, you could also, coaching could be a whole nother thing. LaFleur inherited Aaron Rodgers. I mean, hey, if I would go coach the Packers if I knew Aaron Rodgers was going to be the quarterback, right? So he brings that same style with he brings that same offense that the Niners bring, which is the Shanahan style offense. But at the same time, I just don't know if in key moments, does he really make those type of adjustments? So I don't know. I mean, I had the Packers going to the playoffs this year, but I did pick Minnesota to win this division. But Right now, I do not believe the Packers are trending towards making the playoffs right now.
And that young receiver that you were trying to think of, Jaevon, shout out to Khalil and your cousin Marcellus. You were looking for Jordy Nelson.
There we go.
The young receiver you were thinking of. And also shout out to Elizabeth, who gives a good point. The Packers used to have a defense. They let Zendarius Smith go to the Vikings, and now we see him thriving on the Vikings. So that's kind of how it goes sometimes. Kevin, did you have any thoughts on the Packers?
To keep it short and simple, I think this is Aaron's last year. I think he's out of here. At this point, I feel like it's the time they're rebuilding, and he doesn't have time to rebuild. You do what Devontae Adams did for them. You get 3 first-round draft picks, and you call it good. You left it better than when you got there.
Are they trading? Is anyone trading 3 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers right now?
Not anymore. Not anymore. Last year, yeah. Not anymore. Not after this year.
I still think he can.
I still think maybe not 3. 3's crazy. 3's crazy. Maybe
not
2.
3.
Maybe 2 and
two and some seconds.
2 and like some thirds, maybe. I don't know. We saw what Russell Wilson went for. I mean, Jesus. And that was coming off of not even his best year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think Aaron still got a little bit. I think he's still got a couple bullets left in the chamber right now, to be honest. I just don't think he's really loving this team right now. I don't think their offense is that really well equipped. They're doing simple packages and stuff like that. He's not really like attempting to go downfield as much. Obviously, trust is not built within the offense. The defense has obviously been spotty this whole year, especially if you're playing on the field a lot. They have a lot of 4 and outs the Packers do right now. So, but I still wouldn't count out Aaron Rodgers in the long term, though. Still feel like he still got a couple of years left before it really falls in the downfall.
He had 3 picks last game. It's not good. And most of them were in
3 red zone.
Red zone. Yeah.
Okay. I thought all 3 were in the red
zone.
It's
2 of them in the red zone. Drive killers, man.
So y'all betting against Aaron? Y'all, he's washed. He's done.
Oh, I'm not saying he's
Todd,
washed.
is he washed? Done?
He's not washed.
Nah, he's not washed.
Kevin, no one's saying, "Oh, I'm just making sure." I thought y'all were trying to say he's done.
No, he's done in Green Bay. I think
he's done. Yeah, I'm done in Green Bay. Okay, I might see that, but I still think he got a couple of years left to do some work.
And I'm not saying that he's washed either, but the team around him is just not working. But I also will not trade 3 first-round picks for him. I will tell you that right now. On draft day, when the 49ers almost traded for him, or he wanted out and the 49ers almost traded, I would have traded. No. I mean, the Colts look like they're going to be rebuilding.
Some teams that are on the edge, I think.
Rodgers don't want to go to the Colts.
My Steelers do.
The Saints?
I wouldn't be mad.
Ooh,
the Saints?
I just don't think it's going to happen.
The Seahawks,
mid-season.
if he really, I know Geno Smith's been playing great, but
Eagles,
maybe,
No.
If you're borderline, I feel like you're borderline.
All right.
What do you
guys,
say?
It doesn't matter. Next topic.
Toddy said maybe the Eagles for Aaron Rodgers. He was playing a little. So okay. So thank you, Toddy. You just gave me the perfect transition. Now let's talk about our 3 teams. Toddy and I are 49ers fans.
It's
obvious. It's obvious who Kevin is a fan of. And then our guy Garry, he's staying in Pennsylvania, except he's going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's start out with the Niners. The question is, on to Garry first. Jaevon, I'm leaving you last because I have a feeling I know where your answer is going to be. You guys see the question on the ticker. How far will the 49ers go in the playoffs? I think at this point, the NFC West has proven to not be as strong as we thought it would be. The 49ers are currently undefeated in the division. I think the 49ers will fare pretty well in the division. So I think the 49ers winning the division isn't a far-fetched idea. So let's just say, assuming the 49ers win the NFC West, they go to the playoffs. Garry, the question is, how far will the 49ers go in the playoffs?
They're winning 1 game max, and that's it. I just hope y'all beat the Cowboys like last year and y'all lose the next game. Simple as that, you guys. I got to give a shout out to Shaun real quick for this ticker. Look at him doing the audio and all the editing looking nice right now. That was a side note. But Niners, you guys got a real defense. I'm not going to, when everyone's healthy, you guys got a real defense. It's just Jimmy G. I just can't trust it, y'all. Just can't trust it. We're going to come back to the same topic every time, every week. I got to see it to believe it with Jimmy G. He ain't really shown me no spectacular nothing yet. So that's what I'm waiting for. I give it to you guys. You guys got a great roster. And there's no lie. I hate the Niners, but you can't go around those facts, right? They got a great roster. But right now, y'all sitting at 7th. Right now, either you guys would play Bucks the first round. It's hard to bet against the GOAT in the playoffs, even how bad he's doing. Put him in the dance. Like you put LeBron in the dance.
We'll
It's gonna
play
be
him
a
this
little, you're going to be a little sweaty in there. Yeah, I just hope y'all do what y'all did last year. Y'all can beat the Giants. Y'all can't beat the Vikings or Eagles. Simple.
Sorry.
Simple. Y'all
Okay.
can't beat the Vikings.
All
or
right.
Eagles. Simple.
All right. So
Kevin's
Gary says one game, and I just want to be clear here. Let's say that the 49ers do
Kevin,
not
bro.
get a first round bye because
Kevin, bro.
it looks like the Eagles are going to end up getting the first round bye. So Gary, you're saying that the 49ers win in the wild card round and then they lose.
Yeah, I'm
in
taking
the
it how it
divisional
is
round.
today. Right now, they're sitting at the 7th spot right now. They're not winning the division. The Seahawks are. Only one game.
Right now,
Max.
if the season
Shout out
ended
12,
today,
baby.
Oh, let
Shout out
Kevin go.
12,
Let
baby.
Kevin, just let Kevin go. Let Kevin go. Let's Kevin.
So before we get Kevin's thought, I just want to say if the season ended today, the 49ers would be playing at the Minnesota Vikings, which is one of the teams that Gary
That's a
said
0
the
game.
49ers.
You're not winning the
Dog
game.
food.
Okay, so anyways, Kevin,
You for-
on to you, sir. You got the purple headphones, but you're rocking the Eagles jersey. So what are your thoughts?
On the Eagles or on the Niners?
On the
Niners.
Niners. On the Niners.
Oh,
We'll
I
get
just
to
wanted to make
your
sure.
Eagles.
I just wanted to make sure. On the Niners.
Kevin, don't worry.
We're
got-
gonna get there.
I got the Eagles. I got the Eagles saved for the main event. Don't worry. I mean, deservedly so. They are the main event. So, how far will the 49ers go in the playoffs?
It depends. If you have Christian McCaffrey throwing all the passes, you might go pretty far. But
You got him, coach.
at some point, Jimmy's gonna have to throw it. He might throw it to the wrong team. So I think you guys are gonna struggle. Honestly, I think you guys will go on the road and shock somebody in the divisional round, in the wild card round. Excuse me. And then it's curtain call.
You had to
after
pin that, huh?
So okay. So yeah.
Hold on, wait. Just keep going. Let him go.
Elizabeth.
I say you win.
Yeah, thank you.
I say you can win one game, and if you get lucky and don't have to come to Philly, I think there's a good chance we see you guys in the NFC Championship. But if you guys run into us, it's the end of your season, unfortunately.
He
All
said,
right.
unfortunately, if you get lucky
so-
to come to Philly.
Toddy,
Y'all peep the little words he's saying right now?
Toddy, I'm looking forward to your answer, but before we get your answer, I just wanted to get to some of the comments here. Just real quickly, back to Tracy. Tracy thinks that Aaron Rodgers is done, so there is one person. Khalil thinks the 49ers will get to the divisional round. Elizabeth thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. She didn't say if they were going to win or not, but they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Manny says that Seattle's actually going to win the NFC West. And Marcellus says the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. So, Toddy, last one. James says that the 49ers are going to beat the Eagles in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man.
So, on to you, Toddy. How far will the 49ers go in the playoffs?
All right. So, we're winning the division. Let's just get that. The Niners are going to win the division. I want everybody to know that. Don't believe in the facade in Seattle. Look at the last time we played Seattle, and that was Jimmy G's first game off the bench. No nothing, no playing or practicing with the ones 24/7. We shut them out. The only time that they scored was off of a fluke kick a kick got blocked and they returned it. Okay.
They're not better now, though?
No, hold on now. So from last year, we went on the road twice. We went on the road the whole entire playoffs. Duh. Ask Khalil about the snow game. Ask him about Hufanga.
Snow game.
Duh. Hold on. And then ask Jew, I'm here for you in the playoffs. Because he said Cowboy rematch. He's a Cowboy fan. Dub them at home. Okay. So now, all I'm saying, the Vikings, definitely not scared of Kirk Cousins because we dubbed them last year at home. They don't want these problems. They got the same team. The only thing that's better about
the coach.
The only thing that's better about them now is probably they're on their offense is T.J. Hawkinson that they added, who's a very a sneaky top 5 tight end in this league. So their coach is good, yeah.
And the defense got better.
I'm not worried about Minnesota at all.
All right, so Toddy, how far will the Niners go?
I'm going off of everybody we're supposed to be scared of in the NFC.
Okay,
Brady,
that's fair.
Not scared of Brady. I know we all once scared Brady once in a while, because obviously he went to Tampa, won a bowl. I'm not scared of Brady right now. you got the Rams. The Rams were supposed to be Super Bowl defending, broomstick them, swept them, 2-0 against the Rams. We're not
Y'all won in
worried-
4 games, rest away.
We're not worried about them. Now it comes to the team that we're supposed to be afraid of, the Philadelphia Eagles, who is probably they're going to be the number 1 team. They're going to have home field. If you look at their schedule, they're probably going to go undefeated the rest of the way. Like if you think about it right now, that's probably what's going to happen. We're going to come in Philly. Like it's not. Kevin does not want to play us in the playoffs because of the way that we play. So they got AJ Brown. Yes, you got 3 You really have 2 Batmans. I don't know why your guy came out and said that you guys got 3 Batmans. You got 2. Okay, AJ Brown, dog. AJ Brown is a top receiver in this league. That guy he killed us by himself last year when he was on the Titans. 10 for 140. 10 for 140. So AJ is.
You guys are going 4 and 5.
But we didn't.
The rest of the way. I did the math on it. Y'all going 4 and 5.
Schedule. We got the Chargers on Sunday night because we're playing primetime games.
That's
Okay, well, this isn't a Niners podcast.
All right, okay.
We're going.
Toddy, wrap it up.
We're beating the Chargers.
Whoever said Lou Shames, 7
We're beating
Steelers,
the Saints.
we're done, bro.
We're beating the Dolphins. We're probably going to beat the Bucks. We're beating Seattle, bro. We're going to go undefeated the rest of the way. I don't know. We're going 13-4. We lost 4 games. We're probably
bet
gonna play
dub. Bet that dub. Quick. Bet dub.
Dub. Okay, so
good.
All right,
so,
okay, hold on. Pause.
We're going to beat the Eagles at home.
Toddy, I got you.
We're going to beat the Eagles on the road.
I just wanted to acknowledge real quickly. Oh, did we just hear the first bet of stats over politics? Because here on this podcast, we do believe that stats are more important.
Debo didn't even play
politics.
last week, and we blew out. Like
so, okay.
What
So
are we
let me.
talking about?
I just need to clarify real quick. Toddy and Gary, you guys just bet dub on what exactly did you bet dub on?
He said undefeated the rest of the season. I said bet dub. Quick.
Dub.
So Toddy, you're saying that the 49ers go undefeated the rest of the year.
It should be a meme.
Yeah. All right. So there you go, Toddy.
I'm
Gary.
just surprised that like people aren't like they don't know what we did in the playoffs last year. Like we're so limited because of our quarterback. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy.
I'm gonna hit you 9:00 Sunday after the Chargers game.
I am afraid of what he's able to do. Who is he throwing the ball to? It's Keenan Allen playing.
I got a chance. I got 9 more chances at this.
Toddy. All right, Toddy.
Right,
just give me Toddy. Give me the end destination
in the NFC Championship game. It's gonna be a very close. It's gonna be a very close game. That game's gonna be that's gonna be the Super Bowl right there. That game's probably going to be the Super Bowl. That game's probably going to be the Super Bowl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna beat the Eagles on the road in Philly. It'll probably come down to them being the undefeated team and them chasing the Dolphins and all this other stuff, and then we come in and we beat them because people don't want to play us in the playoffs because we're a very physical team. And then we'll probably lose to Patty in the Super Bowl.
All right.
Okay.
You're
so
a physical team for
Toddy,
how many years?
Toddy has. Okay.
How's that work for you?
So let's just.
Not playing.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's hold on, guys. Let's reel this back in real quick.
Go ahead.
First
Shaun.
of all, Khalil wants to get what you're smoking on, Toddy, according to Khalil. And hey, look at that. Khalil said, "This is what I came for. This is what you have been waiting for, Khalil. You're welcome. I'm glad that we could bring this. I mean, Khalil was saying that he loves Toddy's bad takes, and Toddy, I sure hope you're right. I just want to be clear here, Toddy. So you said that the Niners are going to go 9-0 for the rest of the regular season. The Eagles will likely get the first seed in the NFC because I don't know if the Eagles are going to lose 4 games. Exactly. So the Eagles will get the only first round bye in the NFC. That means that the Niners have to win the wild card round, the divisional round, and the NFC Championship before they get to the Super Bowl and lose to Mahomes, based on what you said. So you're saying right now that the 49ers will win 12 games in a row. And it started the preseason. I mean, how far will the 49ers go? I'll probably say divisional round. I didn't even know if they had a chance of even making the playoffs before they got McCaffrey because of Trey's injury. I was just so heartbroken. And like Shaun and Vaughn listeners know how much of a Jimmy Garoppolo advocate I was. That was last year. I'm over the Jimmy Garoppolo experience, and Christian McCaffrey one of my favorite football players in general joined my team. I could not be happier. But to answer my own question, I probably say the divisional round. So that leads us
I'm muddy with
to
some comments.
Man.
that leads us to our next question. Is Kenny Pickett the answer
No.
for Pittsburgh long term?
Hey, I think it's to be determined on that, y'all. Let's be honest. Am I going first, Shaun?
Yeah, go ahead. You just
All
take the
right,
mic.
all right.
Go
Someone
ahead.
asked it about the Steelers. All right, season's over. It's all good. We won 2 games so far, guys. We had a couple close ones, obviously here, but you know what? For my Steelers, I'm gonna give my condolences. RIP to my Steelers this year. We're just gonna be looking at things we can develop going forward here. You know, we need an offensive line, obviously. We got some young receivers. You guys sent the big Claypool trade. I was actually like, yep, thank God we got
What's
something
your
in
record
return.
right now?
We 2-6, I think, 2-4.
Yep.
It's pretty much over. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty
Y'all got
much
y'all
over.
first round draft pick, right?
But I think Kenny Pickett, I haven't seen no wow factor yet. I'm not gonna lie. I did see some wow, I feel like. But I still, I want to give him some time to really develop, with his receivers. I still feel like give him the rest of the season. I'm gonna know by the end of the season if we have a guy or not. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on Kenny Pickett's TBD, and I just can't count out Mike Tomlin. Wait till next year. I know, so I'm always saying next year already, but I just feel like my coach always has leadership roles, and we always get together, and we always we're the team that you do want to bet on when we are underdogs. You feel what I'm saying? So if you want to win some money, bet on the Steelers when we're underdogs. But other than that, we're done for the season. I ain't gonna lie.
Except for maybe this year, just because the Steelers are typically underdogs in every single game right now, and they're not winning a majority of their
I meant
games.
like a big underdog, like the Bills.
Okay, yes. That's understandable. And this may be the first season in his coaching career that Mike Tomlin's team finishes with a record below 500.
I hate
that's
Marcellus.
A crazy thought. That's a crazy thought, but Gary, that's pretty interesting though, that you say you will know by the end of the year. I expected you to say maybe 2-3 years by the end of the year. That's interesting. Okay, Kevin, we're going to go to you next. Is Kenny Pickett the answer for Pittsburgh long term?
If they finish in the top 2 or top 5, then no. If they fall anything outside of that, then yeah. I feel like if you can get a quarterback that's better than them, you do it right away. If you're top 5, you go CJ. Even top 6, Will Levis is looking bad. Hooker's not looking bad.
Levis is trash.
Oh,
trash.
That's a hot take.
Trash.
But it just depends on where they fall with their draft pick. If they can turn it around, which I think they will. Mike Tomlin's not going out like that. I think they're gonna figure it out. TJ Watt's coming back. So to answer your question about Kenny, it all depends on the draft pick.
Okay, so if they get a top 5 pick, then they're going to move on, just like the Cardinals did with Josh Rosen. Yep.
You have no choice.
Okay, so Toddy, on to you. Is Kenny Pickett the answer long term? And I just want to note that Toddy's cousin Marcellus had Kenny Pickett ruin his parlay. So
hey man, tell him about how Kenny Pickett threw 2 picks, not 1, 2 to end the game in that Dolphins game.
Hey man, he's a rookie, man.
I get it. He turns the ball over way too much. He turns the ball over way too much.
We got some receivers. I know y'all like our receivers. We ain't never.
You guys have great receivers.
Steelers always have receivers.
We have a good tight end too.
That's the thing with your guys'
our line, bro. Najee's good too. Najee can't run the ball because our line sucks.
You guys know how to draft well. You guys are used to seeing greatness at the quarterback position. Pivoting from Ben Roethlisberger, y'all know that Kenny Pickett ain't it. Everybody know the people that.
I just don't want to pull the rug on him just yet because I feel like he hasn't got his full shot yet. Or if that was the case, we would have been pulled Jimmy G's rug. Shit,
man.
Oh, we're redirecting.
A lot of people are missing out on that Jimmy G train because you got the Colts, you got the Commanders, you got the Saints. There's a lot of guys that could have pulled that plug, but they didn't want to do it.
And good thing they did it.
We're missing our game record too. Watt. TJ Watt, come on now.
Exactly, TJ Watt.
A big blow.
So what I'm saying is, you guys.
I didn't think that was gonna be that big of a blow, but that was a big blow because we got other guys on the defense.
Have a stellar defense, yes, but we all know that defense can only take you so far. It's a quarterback-driven league now, and Tomlin probably knows. I'm pretty sure the team probably knows that Kenny Pickett probably isn't going to be the guy for the foreseeable future, given where they are right now. 2-6, as you already said, that what their record is. You guys get a chance to draft Bryce Young. You guys gonna stick with Kenny Pickett, or are you gonna?
No, I'll take Bryce Young.
Okay,
exactly.
So
But I'm not expecting to have a high pick. Though. I don't know why. I just feel like if it lands our way, I'll be happy. But I don't know. I'm just feeling like
if you guys have the opportunity to get a Stroud, get a pick, or get a Young, those are the guys that you guys. If you guys have that, don't draft Will Levis. I'm telling you right now, Will Levis is not who you guys think he is. But Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are probably going to be the top picks. I'm seeing that Will Anderson is probably going to be the number one pick. I'm seeing on different boards just based off of what I've seen. But I think if you need a quarterback going forward, though, that's if you imagine a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud on this Steelers team right now, they would be a whole lot better, a lot more competitive in my position because Mitch ain't it. Because Mitch was out there starting the year off, somehow beat the Bengals in week 1, okay, and then Mitch got hurt. Pickett came in, he gave them a little spark, okay. He gave them a little spark going in, and then it kind of died down a little bit. I think with Kenny Pickett, they beat the Bucks, but Kenny Pickett got hurt in that game. But I think that the Steelers are a quarterback away because you guys always draft well. You guys have a great defense. I think you guys have one of the best safeties in Minkah Fitzpatrick. You have NFL young boy in George Pickens. I think.
Yep, keep preaching to the choir.
You guys keep
on going.
Najee Harris. I mean, I think you just need a quarterback to put it all together, and that's what I feel like.
And a line. We do need a couple. We need a line though too.
For sure, but I think that you guys are a quarterback away. I think Pickett is not the answer.
Kevin.
Yeah, I don't think that Kenny Pickett is the answer long term. I was never really a huge fan of the fake slider when he was in college, and I think he got drafted in the first round mainly. I'm glad you all finally caught on to that one.
I already know what you were saying. I was trying to ignore.
Yeah, so like I feel like Kenny Pickett benefited from the fact that the quarterback class was not strong at all the year that he was coming out. So I feel like that really benefited him. But I don't think that he's the answer long term. I would normally say that I think that the Steelers would probably finish with a high draft pick, but the last time I thought they would finish with a high draft pick, they ended up like 12 or 13. And it was the year that they traded their first round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I thought it was the dumbest trade ever because I thought it was going to be a top 3 pick that got traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. It ended up being like number 13 overall. So I'm never going to count the Steelers out as long as Mike Tomlin is their head coach. But when it comes to the answer to this question, I don't think Kenny Pickett is the answer long term. So guys, this is the moment that Kevin has been waiting so patiently for. We are going to stick in the state of Pennsylvania. And now let's get to the main event of episode 1 of Stats Over Politics. And I have a simple question for you guys. And it is a question that Kevin and I have debated about a lot over our text thread. And the question is, will the Eagles win the Super Bowl?
I don't know why
this season. Nope. We can get to MVP later, but I just figured checking in first episode, we could talk about all of our teams, and we got to the Raiders and the Packers because that's what our listeners want to hear about. But let's get to Kevin's team, the Eagles. Kevin, just like I did for Toddy. Yeah, I was just about to say, just like I did for Toddy, I'm gonna have you go last because I want to hear the non-biased opinions first, and let's start with Toddy. Toddy, will the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year?
Hey, man, let's just go off their schedule. They got a cupcake schedule. I saw something that Kev posted about who they want the Eagles to play. They wanted to play the Avengers, the SWAT team. They wanted to play all this stuff. But, I mean, the Eagles, they have a very good team. Sirianni has surprised me in a lot of ways. Me and Kev have talked hours on hours about what do we think about this is just years behind when Jalen Hurts first came on, and I thought Jalen Hurts was when he was replacing Carson Wentz, and I was like, I think he has a good element to the run game because he's mobile, but he has to develop as a passer, and I think this year we're starting to see that him developing as a passer. So him being a dual threat is going to take them a long way. They added an AJ Brown at the draft, one of the top receivers in the league. Props to Howie Roseman just being able to build this team. I think adding a Robert Quinn is going to be a very people aren't really going to talk about that, but Robert Quinn is going to be able to help them win a lot of games. I don't think that they're ready to win the Super Bowl. I think that they're the best team right now, obviously because they're 8-0. I think that they haven't been tested yet, and I think their only test will probably come in the playoffs or maybe in the divisional game when they probably play the Cowboys again. That'll be their first ever test, but I think they're better than the Cowboys. I don't think they'll have a real test until they play yours truly, San Francisco 49ers. And once they face us, they're going to lose because we have the element to run the ball. And I think when you're able to run the ball against a team like the Eagles, it keeps the offense off the field. So I think the Eagles will probably go undefeated the rest of the year as well. And I don't see a team really beating them this year.
You hold on. Before we get to Gary and Kevin,
Eagles are probably going to go undefeated. Look at their schedule. Just look at.
You think the Eagles will go undefeated throughout the regular season, and then didn't you say they're going to the NFC Championship game and they would lose to the Niners in the NFC Championship game?
Correct.
Okay, so
I'm just saying, like they haven't really been tested yet.
That would put the Eagles at 18-0. 18-0 against the 13-4 49ers. Actually, it would be 14-4 at that point. Yeah. So let's just get to a couple of comments here before we get over to Gary. Khalil just wants you to stop, and
that's how that one would have came
in. And for the audio only for the audio only audience, Marcellus, Jaevon's cousin, said Kev looking like Charlemagne right now. That's why we were all laughing. All right, guys. So Gary, on to you. Will the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Why or why not?
All right. So the Eagles. This is the problem with the Eagles. I think Vaughn kind of touched on it with it. I thought they're not battle tested yet. Obviously, I think Kevin would say it too. The schedule hasn't been too many, and you're gonna go what your schedule is. So if your schedule is, that's like my Steelers when we were a couple years ago. I think last year before we were 7-1 and we were looking. But I would give it to the Eagles way better. They're way better than my team was then because they are unique on how they play, how their offense is. That's the only thing they're so unique where they run the ball so much and. Their quarterback right now is playing crazy. Mm-hmm. It's just hurts. I just feel like they're playing so uniquely that they could go to the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but in my head's telling me they're not battle tested. How can they go? Like they're not ready. But when you look at the quarterbacks, I seen the quarterback list. What other quarterback are they really going to go through? Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott. Who are we going through here? Jimmy
this
G.
Dude preaching.
Hey. We go. I'm not gonna lie. So like, you guys are not going through anybody but the Bucs really, and like who's really been proven in terms of team wise and quarterback wise, Mm-hmm. And so I do feel like the Eagles have a big chance. Will I put my money on it? No, I wouldn't because I just don't feel like they haven't played anyone to get them ready for that.
He's probably the best quarterback.
They played the Vikings, the best team they played so far, in my opinion. And probably the best team they're gonna play because I think the next team that they really have a challenge for I see right here is the Cowboys, I guess.
They already slapped the Vikings.
Yeah, that is Toddy. I'm glad that you brought that up because
they're gonna play the Vikings.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that was the hardest game they had on their schedule. Yeah, and they beat them, but I also feel like the Vikings are also on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Like they're also getting cooking too at the same time. So I would put my money. I would have put my money on the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I could put my money going there, but not winning the Super Bowl. That's the question right now. So no, yeah.
Yeah, the AFC is really tough, and I just want to give my.
You mean the NFC is really? Okay.
No, the AFC is really tough. So
okay,
when you were saying that they could get to the Super Bowl, but are they going to win it? That's a whole nother question because the AFC is really tough. Mm-hmm. You have potentially Josh Allen coming out of the AFC, Patrick Mahomes, who Toddy mentioned earlier. Just those two by themselves is scary enough to think about. And so I just wanted to give my 2 cents real quick before we get to Kev, because Kev's going to drop the mic and I know that. So when it comes to the teams that are at the top of the NFC right now, the Eagles to me are for real. The Eagles have had a cakewalk schedule compared to other teams, but it is what it is.
They won 9
cycles.
Year, so
it cycles every year. Yeah, it cycles every year, and you can only play the opponents that are on your schedule. And right now, the Eagles are unbeaten. I don't think that I agree with what you guys both said that they haven't really been battle tested because of their schedule, but I still think that the talent is there. They are for real. when it comes to a team like the Vikings, I don't think that they're for real. Like the Vikings, they have talent here and there, but are the Vikings going to be consistent?
They
I don't
put some
think that they
respect
are.
on Lil Kirko's name, man. Put some respect on Lil Kirko.
Yeah, Lil Kirko.
That.
Lil Kirko got exposed when he played the Eagles on Monday night. And
Hey,
so
he
I
sure
think
did.
the Eagles are for real. The Vikings are posers. And so to answer my own question, will the Eagles win the Super Bowl? If you read the group text between all of us for the last 2 months, the answer is an emphatic no. The Eagles will not win the Super Bowl this year. Will they go to the Super Bowl? Just like Garry said, that's a whole nother question, but I'm going to go with no. Kevin, close us out here. Will the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year?
And everything. I can't wait.
For starters, I'm gonna let y'all know now. If we make it, there's no way we lose. Unless we play against Patty, then it's a toss up. But I honestly don't think the Bills have enough for us. The offense is good, but our defense is one of the top in the league. I know you Niner fans like to show week 4 or 5 pictures, but we're doing this throughout the whole season. I think we're really just on a different level. I think it comes down to quarterback play. Josh Allen has really shown a lot of true colors these past couple weeks. He throws a lot of bad interceptions, and teams are finalizing and executing on them, and that's what we do. If you give it to us, we're going to go down and score. Like Garry said, the run game with Jalen Hurts makes it a lot on the team. So if we make it there, I don't think we're going to lose to anybody. So to answer the question, hell yeah.
Well, to touch on what Kevin said about Josh Allen, I think the problem is the difference between you guys. You guys have a run game. Miles Sanders, Gainwell, Kenneth Gainwell, I think that's his name. Boston Scott, you guys actually have a run game, so it's not really too heavily relying on Jalen Hurts. With the Buffalo Bills, you got Josh Allen throwing the ball 40, 50 times. Like they kind of rely on him to be good week in, week out. And whenever the Bills kind of struggle and they turn the ball over when Josh Allen is, throwing these picks, it kind of makes it harder for them to be able to win the games. With you guys are able to establish the run game early, play action, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown. We saw A.J. go for three tutties 2 weeks ago. I think it was against the Steelers. Sorry about that, Garry.
Yeah,
But,
that iconic photo.
Guys, we suck.
They were, I mean, the way that their run game is built, and you got to mention the guys on the defensive end. You had C.J. Gardner. You have a Darius Slay, who's probably one of the better corners in this league. Their D-line is stout. Like I said, they already added a Robert Quinn. Like this team is good. Don't get it twisted about who they played. They have a very solid team. Now, do I think that they're better than the 49ers? No. When we play them in the playoffs? No. But I think that this Eagles team is for real. I think that they're going to be the number one team just throughout the entire playoffs. So that means if they do go to the Super Bowl, they would be the home team. I think they'll have the best record out of everybody. I think they'll go undefeated the rest of the year.
Road to Super Bowl, got to go through Philly, baby. Hope you're ready, Toddy.
Hey,
for the sake of this podcast, I hope it doesn't have to happen. I hope we don't have to put y'all out.
Oh, God,
as long as the Cowboys and Niners lose, I don't care.
What is the playoff standing right now? Because I know the Eagles are 1.
Eagles 1.
Eagles 1. Vikings 2. Vikings 2. Seattle 3. Bucks 4. Cowboys 5. Giants 6. Niners 7.
See, we got some NFC East teams in there, so I'm not really scared of the NFC. Like, not really. Doesn't really shake in my boots. But I think that
just like if you look at your
I think
team,
when it comes down to it, I think
boots.
the Niners will have a home game as well.
Okay, so before we go, guys, and we appreciate you all for tuning in to this first episode of Stats Over Politics, I just want to get to the important questions because I have been asking nothing but meaningless questions so far. Now let's get to the real questions. This is where I get my Big J journalist right here. I want to know, how much did we pay Kev to get on the podcast? Marcellus
it was a big bag to get Kev on here.
Hey, man. Five-figure contract.
I run a steep bargain, man. I run a steep bargain. Came on Shaun and Vaughn. I had 2 crazy episodes, and
that was the preview right there. That was for free. So now we have to.
Yeah, they added me for diversity.
Okay,
I know they don't. We're just joking,
All right.
y'all. We're just joking.
he's
This
This
obviously
is when Shaun wished we had an edit button. See, I told you to be ready for
click,
live, boy.
click. Anyways, that's going to do it for episode number 1 of Stats Over Politics. We really appreciate you all tuning in. For our YouTube listeners, make sure to subscribe. Give us a like. That's really going to help us really grow that channel. And then for our audio listeners, make sure to hit subscribe, rate us, give us a review. We would really appreciate it. Let us know how we're doing. And for Garry Singh, Kevin Dent, Jaevon Toddy, I am Shaun Holko, and I just want to thank you all once again for tuning into this first episode of Stats Over Politics. As
Wentz.
Kevin's showing off
Hey, man, God let him know.
I think it's
Fly with
time to
fly,
go.
baby.
It's time to go. Let's get out of here. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Yes, sir.